Agency Pillars 101. Let's go, guys. Okay, this is a video that I'm going to be going over the main 6 pillars that you need to build and ultimately scale your agency. And I think this is something that a lot of agency owners are forgetting about. So let's get into it. Before I get started with the main pillars, I think the main reason that a lot of agencies are struggling to essentially get conversions and scale, the main thing that I would personally say is they don't have the right system set in place. They don't know what they're exactly doing and why they're doing it. So the first pillar that I'm going to get into is with client outreach. I think once a week, every single agency owner should do this. From the process of you outreaching to a client to ultimately getting the conversion, that whole process, you have to ask yourself why you are doing every single thing. And essentially, if you do that, you'll realize a lot of the things that you guys are doing is actually wasting, you're wasting a lot of time. Um, and the first thing part of this that we're going to get into, obviously, is message outreach. And what I mean by that, I've realized over the past couple months that your scripts and messaging is the one of the most powerful tools. Before I thought it was obviously, getting on call with the client, but I realized that with proper messaging and proper scripts, you can actually save way more time and learn about a client in 5 minutes over text instead of doing a whole 20-minute call that ends up, by the time you book the call, it just ultimately leads to you wasting way more time. And this is one thing that's very important. So I think every single agency owner, when you're starting out or in general, you have to write scripts that can filter clients. And what I mean by that, like I said in my other video, I have certain scripts, and when a client comes and filters throughout all of them, so answers each question, ultimately after they say yes, yes, yes to every single one of these questions, that's the only way they can say yes before getting on a call. So what I mean is if they don't agree to everything that we say or they don't fit everything in our scripts, they won't even hop on a call. With this system, by the time the client hops on a call, we have a 7 out of 10 conversion rate because of the fact that every single one of our clients is being filtered out. All the ones that say no, we would have wasted time on the calls anyways. So that is one thing that I think a lot of you guys should focus on. Instead of just focusing on the calls, focus on making crystal clear scripts that actually filter out clients. The next thing I'm going to get into, I realized this personally this year in 2025, data is everything. When you use data through Instagram, through whatever platform you're using to reach out clients, you can the possibilities are endless, and I'm going to go through that right now. If you gather data from every single one of you use the same scripts for all of your clients, or relatively the same scripts, there's only so many replies that a client can give you. I've noticed this through the agency game. When you send a script, there's only 3 4 type of answers that a client's going to give. It's going to be no, yes, something along that, or like I need to think about it, etc. So what you are going to do is start gathering all this data after 1 month of every single client that you have used these scripts with. Once they're crystal clear, obviously you need to make good scripts which we go over in Agency Mastermind, the scripts that we use essentially. But what this does, I'm gonna try to I'll show it on a graph later to you guys as well. You can actually save so much time, and what I mean by that is, after 1 month of gathering all this data, you'll see that you'll associate a reply with a conversion. So, for example, one of the things in my scripts, every single client that has replied with a yes to this has ended up making a conversion. And every single person, or 90% of the people that said no to this, never ended up making a conversion. So you save so much time. It can be certain replies. And when you gather the data and be like, oh, every single person that said I need to think about it, after the first call, they ended up making a conversion. So, but every single person that maybe said yes actually was just trying to waste time, etc. So what this does is now you have every single answer in your data from your scripts, and what that does is now you don't even have to hop on a call. All you do essentially, you can filter them out from the get-go because you know from all the data you gather, and this also takes a lot of time. You need a lot of clients to work with. This is something when you start getting more, friction with clients and stuff. You understand that, bro, my data is telling me that 99% of the time when a client answers with this response, it never ends up to a conversion. So anytime a client responds like this, you just respectfully don't talk to them anymore. And you go on to the next client. And it saves so much time. But this, you have to create proper systems to actually analyze all the data and have someone also to, put it all into some sort of thing that you can measure. The next pillar I'm going to go into, building a team. I learned this the hard way. You cannot do everything by yourself. Technically you can, but it won't be good. The moment you get off the ground with your agency, as soon as you can rather find your friends or people you know, first of all, before that, you need to learn the different roles in an agency. There's setters, closers, ad managers, someone that can make you websites, all these different roles. What a smart person does is realize that there's only a couple things that you specialize in. And it doesn't matter. For me, essentially, one of the main things that I'm personally good at is closing the client on the call or after the call, essentially. But I maybe didn't realize, this is just an example, I maybe didn't realize that I'm not the best at setting. But one of the things that I can do is, as a one person, you can only set so much. The best thing you can do for your agency is get a bunch of some of the best setters in the market to essentially set for you. And then your calendars are going to be booked out. And then that's where I said like closers come in. Then you're going to have too many calls. So then you start hiring a couple closers to essentially, do the calls for you and etc. But this way, a lot of people, they think selfishly, but they don't even realize that building a team, technically speaking, will make not only you, but everyone around you more money. Because at the end of the day, when you have a solid team built around you, but this only works once you understand the roles. And once you understand the roles and put yourself in the middle and all the things that you have weak points around, create a team around that, and every single person on the team is going at their strong point, the sky's the limit. The next thing we're going to get into, I've seen with a lot of agencies, especially once you get the ball rolling, but I would say even from the beginning, just branding in general is something I've seen, even regarding with payments. When clients want to get payments, a lot of the times I've seen they literally just send like a quick paragraph and then they send their own personal e-transfer. That is not professional at all. Create professional websites, create professional invoices, just create everything professional. And this will essentially in the long run show the client and also give them more trust, because I guarantee you 1 in 20 clients, and I'm saying this with certainty, if you send them your own personal transfer page, 1 in 20 clients that we're going to convert will end up being like, oh, this guy's like not professional. And it only says 1 in 20, but again, that's one extra sale you could have made. So just be more professional. Your whole Instagram or whatever platform you're using to provide your service, the website, this just makes it easier for the client and makes everything really smooth. Okay, now I'm just going to go in the graph and show you this in a better way so you guys can understand. Okay, so the main things I talked about right now, data, like I said, once you get enough data, every single response that a client responds with, you can correlate that to a conversion or not a conversion, and then it just saves so much time. But this is, again, something that takes a while. Building a team, like I said, building people around you that your weak points you can build a proper team around. Branding, making things professional, and then reasoning every now and then, going around and trying to fix micro details in your systems to understand, how can I essentially, is there something in my system that I'm doing that's wasting time? Am I sending one more message than I should be? The whole process from getting a call until the onboarding process, is that taking too much time? These are all things that once a week you should go around and consider and just make the process smoother. Now I'm going to go just quickly into this. Okay, let me go more depth into this. Okay, let me go from the first step. Once you start analyzing and reasoning, like I said, every single week, once a week, you go into your agency funnel systems, everything, and realize, okay, what can I make faster? This essentially will make the process more fluid. And then from the get-go, branding. Branding will make you look more professional. And everyone knows this. If you want to be treated like a professional, you have to also look like a professional company. You know? No client is going to, if you have your own face or like some, like it's worth investing in these things. And I learned this also the hard way. That's why I'm trying to tell you guys. You need to make sure the whole process, everything is done. Even your setup when you're talking to calls on clients, everything, your scripts that you're writing must be in a professional way, not like it's just been typed by like a 10-year-old. What this will do, essentially, will build trust with the clients, and they will ultimately take you more seriously. Now, data. Once you get data, like I said, it will change everything. This takes, like I said, a month to 2 months of getting enough responses. You need at least 1,000, maybe even more responses to put into a whole system that we use with a software that essentially goes and you can analyze the responses and everything. Once you do this, every single response, like I said, you can tie that to a conversion or not a conversion and just save so much time. If 100% out of 1,000 clients you said that said, I'll think about it, if out of 100 of the clients that said, I'll think about it, one of them ended up converting, that just tells you something. Maybe when a client says, I'll think about it, maybe you can still talk to them, but just keep them on the back end, because out of 1% of clients that now say I'll think about it are going to end up converting. So you're saving way more time just by gathering more data and then building a team. When you build a team, everything is done more professionally because everyone is doing, again, like I said, the best at what they're doing. You find a setter, his best strong point is setting. He's setting for you. You find multiple setters, gets you more clients. You can't handle all the clients. You get some closers. Now, what this will do, I'm going to give you the whole wheel. Reasoning. Once you start reasoning, you are going to build, like I said, a better system. Better system, more time efficiency. Data. Once you get enough data around your messages, your scripts, and everything, you will understand every single client response and attach value to that or not attach value. It just depends on what they say. And you know what that's going to lead to. So you save 100x more time. When you save 100x more time, you have more time to talk to more clients, like I said in my first video. Then, building a team will essentially triple, quadruple your client outreach, will again triple and quadruple your client conversions. What that's going to do is going to give you more credibility for the brand. And the brand is important, like I said, to have proper branding. It looks professional. When you do all of these 4 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these 4 things, you will get conversions. Oh, I did that wrong. Conversions. That's essentially all it is. Everything, these 4 things, if you follow these 4 things, it will get you conversions in the long run. I promise you. If you build a team, if you reason every single day and go back into your everything in your systems and be like, what am I doing? You gather data. You make your brand professional. Everything will connect. Guys, I hope you liked that video. I hope you learned something at least from all of this. I'm pretty sure a lot of my friends that were asking for this video, I'm happy to have made it. So now, there's certain things that, you guys can cover and see for yourself. All the other people watching, I'm happy to provide this value to you. If you think that it's something that you're interested in, comment, like, and we'll make more videos coming very soon. So yeah, stay tuned.